Well, hey there everybody, Aaron here. Welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. Well, it is early 2015 and it is time to do an update for you on the do-it-yourself medical kit. Now, last year we did a do-it-yourself medical kit, and based off of that, I got a lot of comments, people giving me different suggestions, and I've really had a chance to purchase a lot more items and really get a lot more stuff in this than originally done when we did the one back in 2014, and I like to do updates pretty frequently for you guys as I learn things, find things, and that's what this video is about, is the contents of this Vanquish FATpack. This is their larger pack. It's going to be 5 inches wide and 8 inches high. We've done a review on this, a great little kit, and it's a great kit that I'm using right now as my main personal medical kit. I have all my stuff in here to handle all of my issues that I may have. I take this with me on every single filming adventure that I do to go test gear. I take it on backpacking trips, camping trips, and have it in the car with me on a pretty frequent basis because it's small, compact, but I can get a lot of stuff in there. So I'll just show you the pack real fast, and I'll have a link in the description below to the full review on this. But you got nice little stages of MOLLE all the way around this pack. Good YKK zippers. You got a little panel here for the logo, for your medical logo. And what I did, because I don't usually attach this to a pack, sometimes I will, but usually it's in my packs. I put a little handle here for paracord. You could use a carabiner, you could use other things, night-eye, gear ties, something like that. Just give me a good grab, and then you got your handle right here, and you tear this thing open. Boom, shakalaka boom. Here is the kit, and now let's go ahead and look at what's inside, and I'm going to walk you through all the stuff that I have installed in this kit to hopefully point you in the right direction and teach you a couple things maybe. I'm always learning as well, and I'd love to hear your guys' comments at the end of this video of, hey, you didn't think about this, or hey, try this. And in this video, I'm going to try and do the same for you, is kind of point out to you some things that you can purchase that will help build out a personal medical kit for you in a do-it-yourself kind of format. Okay, I want to go through what I have in here on the front panel first. This is going to be most of my liquids and disinfectants and those type of things that have some girth to them, if you will, and aren't the bandages necessarily. So what I have here is hydrogen peroxide, or excuse me, iodine. My bad. This is iodine. Great to have iodine, and not only tags where the damage is to your body, the wound is, but it'll also clean it out. So that's always very important to have. And then I have hydrogen peroxide right here. And I mentioned this in the video that we did back in 2014, but I have covered this in tape. The reason for that is hydrogen peroxide loses its strength and power as soon as it starts seeing sunlight, and that's why iodine comes in a brown bottle. That's why hydrogen peroxide comes in a brown, usually a brown bottle, is because it's trying to protect itself from sunlight. So I'm using a different bottle than what originally came with the hydrogen peroxide. So I highly recommend you cover it with tape. Very important to make sure that your hydrogen peroxide still has the killing power to be able to clean the wounds and stuff and not lose its potency. So that's always important. This is new skin. This is great for minor cuts that maybe are in really awkward places that bandages are going to come off real quick. I wouldn't say that this is a remedy or a replacement for stitches, but it would be able to definitely close up some awkward wounds that are in weird places, or wounds that are maybe a little deeper and you're having some trouble stopping the bleeding. This is a great little item. Then I have Antibacterial Cream right here, antibiotic cream, excuse me. This is very important as well. You can get almost all this stuff I either picked up at King Soopers or Walmart. 90% of the stuff you're about to see. So that, and then finally over here I have, if I can pull it out, anti-itching cream. So that's always important as well, depending on if you get bug bites, really bad bug bites, or you run into some poison ivy or poison oak or something like that. It's always good to have something like that. So those are some of the contents that I have here on the front panel, and those are most of the liquids and the things that are going to fight against infection and bacteria, and really are extremely important. Some of the most important parts of this kit are the contents we just looked at. All right, as we move on to some of the other contents here in this pouch, and again, I love this pouch so much because it's pretty small, again, 5 inches wide, 8 inches high, so it's pretty small, compact, but I can get a lot of stuff in here. So I have some adhesive tape, waterproof adhesive tape, to keep bandages and things on there. The way this is set up, I used a Night Eyes gear tie. I'm finding I'm using these all the time. These things are freaking awesome. I'm going to do a video very soon on how you can use even the bigger ones to really help out with your packs and really attach larger things, but I've used that there. That keeps that really nice and snug right there. Got an Ace bandage. You know, I do lots of hiking. I do 14ers, that's 14,000 foot mountains. I do that a lot. And, you know, you could sprain an ankle, you know, roll an ankle, really, you know, fall, hurt your knee, whatever. It's really good to have that type of an item to really, you know, put pressure and kind of realign, you know, ligaments and joints that may have gotten out of place. So it's always good to have an Ace bandage. So I have a good size Ace bandage right there. And then over here on this side, I have some safety scissors, always important, you know, cut clothes if there was a really bad wound, cut bandages, you know, all sorts of things like that. I picked these up over at Mil-Spec Monkey's website. I believe they were $4 or $5, very inexpensive, but very very helpful. And I like the bright orange, you know, so I know exactly where they are and I can see them really easily. Then I have Tylenol PM and some ibuprofen here. So I got the ibuprofen in the AM, Tylenol PM in the PM section, you know, just some minor painkillers, always important. And then something to think about as well is I got some eye drops. Now, I do not wear contacts. If you do, then that would be definitely a must in my opinion. But I got this more to flush out your eyes. You know, if you get a splinter in there, maybe you're doing chopping wood and you don't have your glasses on for some reason, your safety glasses, you know, something gets, you know, a spark in the fire, ash, whatever, and, you know, you got something in your eyes and you need something real quick to clean your eyes out. Very important. I saw that on someone else's kit and I said, man, that's a great idea. So eye drops are very important and very key when you are building one of your, you know, do-it-yourself medical kits. Okay, in these main pockets back here, I have a couple things. Moleskin, a pad of moleskin, very important there, particularly if you are hiking and camping and, you know, doing lots of mileage. Very important. You know, you can start to get really bad, you know, foot sores, and if you can't, you know, put a lot of pressure on your feet, that's a big problem. So this kind of helps with that. That's always a nice thing to have. And then finally, I'm going to slide out the last piece. I'll actually move the FATpack out of the way here for us as we look at this last piece. This is a lock sack. I've actually downsized a little bit so I can kind of compartmentalize and make it fit a little nicer in there. This is a 4.5 inch by 7 inch lock sack, US made, great product. I really like these a lot. These are much better and definitely upgrade over just a normal Ziploc bag to keep all of your bandages from getting wet. Now, if you are, you know, in an environment where you're going to probably get soaking, sopping wet, guaranteed. I don't know if this would necessarily be the best because it is, again, a Ziploc bag. So there is a tendency, you know, if it's under really hard abuse that it could pop open and start to get things wet. In that case, you know, I'd use one of those watertight bags, you know, that you roll up and clip close. That would probably be the best. But for my environment where I live, this seems to be working fine and worked really well for me. And it's definitely got some more, you know, toughness than just say, again, a Ziploc bag. So what I have in here are a little 2 set of tweezers. Pick those up at Walmart for like $3. Very important, you know, to get splinters out. Maybe if you got a really big gash, you fell and, you know, there's junk in the wound, you want to clean it out before you know, bandage it up. That's always important. Then I have a little safety knife here. This is basically a folding razor blade. And you can get a 5-pack of these for about $10 on Amazon or eBay. That's where I picked this up. Comes with a little plastic handle, very stiff, so the blade isn't going to accidentally swing out. And this is great for, you know, doing some minor, you know, wound prepping, cleaning, you know, dead flesh that's moving around, and, you know, maybe that got a really jagged cut. You want to clean some stuff out. Just very important, you know, it'll help cut, you know, in case you lose the scissors or whatever, cut bandages, cut clothing. And it's a great little extra item to have that little safety, basically a scalpel. I mean, it's razor sharp and razor thin. So, I mean, this is basically a little folding scalpel in a way. So that's a really cool little feature. And again, as many of these items that I can put in links, I'll try to. If not, you can just put in, you know, folding or I actually just did, medical razor blades. That's what I searched on Amazon and eBay, and that's what I found. And these things are freaking sweet. Then I got rubber gloves. You never know, you know, if your hands are just really nasty and really dirty and you're working on yourself or a family member, or you might run into someone on the trail and you don't know where they've been, what they have, and, you know, what's going on with them. And so this is always good to, you know, have something to kind of not only protect yourself, but also protect the wound from getting any more infected with anything that you may have or open wounds you may have on your fingers and hands. So then I have a little bit of gauze, you know, to wrap wounds again. Then I have a safety pin. I may have 1 or 2 more safety pins in there. I got, what is this? Pulling a blank here. These are antihistamines. So this is going to help against allergic reactions. Pulled a blank there for a second of what I had these for. So that's always very important. Bee stings, those type of things, or you're with somebody and they're going into some sort of allergic reaction. It's always good to have this. Or you may run into something and you didn't know you were allergic to something, and you need something bad like that. Then I got butterfly stitches in there. Got all sorts of different sizes of bandages. Another safety pin. Band-Aids of all kinds, different sizes, a lot. And you can get a lot in this little pack here, in this little Ziploc bag. Then I have a 4x4 pad. And then I have a 3x3. Yep, a 3x3. And then I have a few 2x2s. And then I finally have some more little pads of not only burn ointment, and I looked these up on Amazon. I think I got a pack of like 20 for $4 or something. These are first aid burn cream. I do a lot of stuff working around fires and things like that. So if I ever were to get caught on fire or burn myself really bad, always very important. And then I just have other little items in here, some more anti-itching packets, to help me with that. So guys, those are just some of the main things that I have in here. After having built this all out, I've been very pleased and very happy so far with what I've had these and using them out there on a regular basis, and being out there 3 to 4 times a month, hiking, backpacking, camping, testing out all the gear that you see. That's a big part of the channel, is being out there in the wilderness, and particularly during the winter. I go out a lot where there's no one on the trail, zero. We're not going to see anybody all day. There's no one at the parking lot. There's no one, in the location that we're going. And we are alone when we're out there hiking and camping and backpacking and testing. And it's always good to have as many medical supplies as you can on you. I'm not a certified medic or EMT or anything like that. So this is just a do-it-yourself from what I've learned, watching other videos, watching other people. And I really hope that overall that this video has just helped you guys out with your purchasing decisions, and particularly when you are building a do-it-yourself medical kit. If you have all the supplies that you see here in front of you, you'll be able to handle a lot of stuff that comes your way, a lot of situations, and anything much higher than this, you're going to have some sort of certification and really know what you're doing to handle anything above what these items right here could cover. And it's not a bad idea to look into that. I'm actually looking into doing just a basic EMT certification type of course, that I would at least teach me a couple more things, pressure points, for blood flow, and different things like that to kind of help me out even more, because it's always good to be prepared for a medical situation, regardless if you're out there camping, backpacking, bushcrafting, or you're driving, to the supermarket and you see an accident and you happen to be the first person on scene. It's great to have not only these supplies to help with any issues that you may see, but also to help the person in need. So guys, I really thank you for watching this channel. As always, I hope this video has helped you guys out. Please, as always, subscribe, comment, like, share, follow us on all the relevant social media on Facebook, Twitter, so you guys can see what's coming down the line. And as always, remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.